Before Christmas, we practiced how to find slope and how to rise and run on a graph, and we know how to plot points. So now we're going to learn about the about a line and the equation for a line. So if I have a graph and it has a line through it, that red line right there has a special equation, a special name. Its equation's its name. So we have a formula that we use for naming it. And that formula is this y equals mx plus b. We call that slope-intercept form. That will be your new best friend, and you'll say it 1 bajillion times. When you write y equals mx plus b, the y and the equals and the x are there. You don't change them. What we put numbers in for, we're going to put numbers in for the m, and the m is going to be our slope, which is the same as saying our rise over run. Because do you remember rum? It would be run. Okay. And then our b is also going to change. This is what we call our y-intercept. What y-intercept means, it's where the line crosses the y line. This is also our starting point when we graph. So let me show you what I mean by that. If I have a graph and I have this blue line that goes through my graph, the b or y-intercept is where the blue and the green line meet. So first, let's just practice reading the formula and picking out the parts of it. So number 1, what is the slope and y-intercept of the graph y equals negative 2x minus 3? Well, the slope is our m. So it's this front part right here in front of the x, so negative 2. So important that you have that negative. And the y-intercept is the back part. The formula says plus. So since the formula says plus and my equation says minus 3, I'm going to write negative 3. All right, let's look at this next one. So the slope is supposed to be in front of the x, but there's nothing right there in front of the x. But we are super smart and know that really there's a 1 right there. So our slope is 1. And then the y-intercept is what's at the end, which is a 2. This next one, we have that same problem. There's just a negative in front. I can't have I have to have a number. So it'll be negative 1 for our slope. And our y-intercept is going to be a positive 2. This time, it's told me the slope is 4/5. The y-intercept is negative 2. So I'm going to write y equals, all right, m, 4/5, and then I have to write the x. Okay, then it's plus, the b is negative 2. Now, that is fine. Plus negative 2 is acceptable. If you lived in perfect harmony in happy math land, instead of writing plus negative 2, you would just write minus 2. Either way is acceptable. So let's do this next one. My slope is negative 2. My y-intercept is 8. Y equals negative 2x plus 8. Our last one, slope is negative 1/2. Y equals negative 1/2 x. Y-intercept is 1 plus 1. There you go. So that's how we write those when we just have information on a page. Now we're going to practice writing them and identifying them when we have a graph. So, it is easier to identify the y-intercept first. The y-intercept will be where the green line and the red line touch or cross. And I can see that it's right here. Let's use pencil. Right here. And that is at 3. My y-intercept is a 3. All right. Now I'm going to look at my 2 points and I'm going to rise and I'm going to run. 1, 2, 3. I rose 3. This will usually be a fraction. It will always be a fraction. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I went to the left, so that's actually -4. So my slope will be negative, so I'm going to write -3/4. So now I have that information. Let's write our equation. Y equals -3/4. That's our slope. We always put an x, plus 3 is our b. All right, let's do the next one. Green line, red line. They're crossing right here. So that would be our B where they cross, and that's a -2. Now I need to rise and run. Rise 1, run 1, 2, 3, 4. So y equals 1/4x plus 2. That's the equation. I want to see if you can figure out your slope and your y-intercept for number 9 and number 10, and then write your equation. Y equals whatever x. Okay? When you're done with that, flip over to the next page for me. So a minute ago, we were looking at a graph and labeling it. Now we're going to switch gears and we are going to have the equation and we're going to draw the line. So we're going to do the opposite. There's 3 steps when you do that. You plot the y or the b, the letter b, whatever that is, on the y-axis. So on your up and down line, you'll put a dot wherever the b says to. And it's y equals mx plus b. So whatever that b tells me, that's where that dot goes. Step 2, from the y point, you're going to plot the slope by doing rise over run. Make sure to turn your slope into a fraction and just put in so it can run. And I'll show you what that means in a second. So you'll have 2 dots at that point and you'll connect the 2 dots and you'll have a line. So let's give it a try. So first I start with my B. I'm going to have a B and an M because remember y equals mx plus b. Well, my b is a 3. I see right there. My m, I need to make it a fraction. So I'm going to put a 1 under it. Remember, anytime you need something to be a fraction, just put a 1 under it. -2/1. All right, let's graph this bad boy. So I start with my b. So on the y line, the up and down line, I'm going to go up 3 and put a point. You always start on the up and down line. Now, my slope is -2/1. So that means I need to rise 2, and I have to run to the left 1 because it's negative. Okay, so that was step 2. Step 3 just says connect the dots. I have 2 dots. I draw a line with an arrow. Now I have a line, and its name would be -2x plus 3. Let's do the same thing with number 12. All right, first we need to figure out our b, and then we need to figure out our m, and then we need to graph them. Well, the b is the last part, which is a -1. Be sure it's negative. And the m, let's make that little guy a fraction, would be 4/1. So let's graph it. On the y line, which is up and down, I put my first dot at -1. My slope says that from that dot I rise 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and run negative, nope, it's a positive, and I run positive 1. So now I have 2 dots, and I can connect them, and I have a line. All right, let's look at 13. My B and my M. My B is going to be that 2. My M, thank goodness, is a fraction, 2 over 5 already. So I start on the up and down line at the 2. Put a dot. From that dot, I need to rise 2 and run to the right because it's positive 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 2 dots. Now I have a line. Yay, Miss Hall. All right, this is the last one I'm going to practice and you're going to try. All right, my B is the back. It's negative 5. My M is 3 over 2. Negative 3 over 2. I about missed that. Okay, so that means up and down. I'm going to go down 5 and put my first dot. Now, I need to rise 3. 1, 2, 3. And because it's negative, I need to go to the left instead of right. I need to make sure it makes a negative slope when I draw it. All right. I would like for you to do 15 and 16 on your own. When you are done, turn the page. All right, these are our special equations that don't appear to follow the rules or don't look right. Something is wrong with them. So in this first one, I don't have a B. There is nothing right here at the end to tell me what my B is. Well, if I got a whole lot of nothing or zilch or 0, oh, so really we know it's plus 0. So when I have just y equals 3x, 10x, negative 1 over 4x, but there's nothing at the end, I always start at 0 because my b equals 0. This m, I'm going to make a fraction, will be 3 over 1. So I'm going to rise 3, 1, 2, 3, run positive 1. So this one goes right through that origin. So you always start at 0, 0 when you're missing a B. This is an undefined line. We know that undefined lines go up and down. So if ever you see x equals 1, on this x line, I'm going to put a dot on 1, and then I'm going to draw a vertical line. These will always be vertical, up and down. Y equals 2 on the y line, which is this top line, top or bottom. I'm going to go up to 2. And this has 0 slope. Remember, when it's straight across, it's no slope, 0 slope. This horizontal line, and it's always a horizontal line, side to side. So let's practice graphing these down here. They're all missing a B. So I'm going to go ahead and say plus, I want this right, plus 0, plus 0, plus 0. So for these, they all start at my B, which is 0. My slope on this first one is negative 2 over 1. So up 2, to the left 1 because it's a negative slope, and there's my line. I want you to graph 18 and 19. When you have done all of that, turn it into me, send me a picture, whatever you need to do, and you're done for the day. Thank you.